I want to play you the first of these South Park clips and get you to react. So this one brilliantly exposes some of the Sussex's laughable...
So let me start with you, Sam. You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Where? Yes, that's right, fan.
Is what we have on the inside.
Hello? Because your family like stupid, and then so are like journalists? So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family.
Now, according to reports, Meghan Markle was, quote, upset and overwhelmed by her portrayal in a cartoon.
The shirkers, the heavy lifters, and the grifters. The Prince and Princess of Wales saluted Welsh Guards yesterday at St David's Day Parade.
And Harry and Meghan, well, they were treated like the Prince and Princess of me that they deserve to be. Here's just a little taste.
Oh, people, this attention is so hard.
Oh, that's awesome. It continues with the appropriate skewering of them running around the world saying, please don't look.
We want privacy. We want privacy. It's the worldwide privacy tour. Come on, want privacy. We want privacy. We want privacy.
Played out. It's like a soap opera, isn't it? That something out of an EastEnders script. And Harry and Meghan have made an awful lot of money and an awful lot of noise over the last couple of years.
The monarchy. And say, here are the fault lines, and do it clumsily.
Would be making a lot less money if they weren't the Duke and Duchess of Sussex,
they are.
which goes on every statement they ever make.
Very funny, and it made Harry and Meghan a laughing stock around the world. And not just in the English-speaking parts of it, the Spanish one as well, and in France, and in...
Well, I'm sure that's certainly not the look that they were going for. And look, South Park is known for satire and for mocking people. No one is safe. This isn't the first time they've done an episode.
The show's creators were seemingly unfazed by reports of a possible lawsuit, a move that Meghan and Harry now deny. Now, according to a new poll, the couple's approval in the U.S. Is somehow even lower than before. It sank lower after the episode.
Won't need these anymore. Can crowns go in the recycling bin?
Toss them on the goodwill pile. Out with the old. In California, we're just a regular couple living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Woo! But not too far.
Down with the monarchy. We deserve our privacy.
They thought no one would dare go harder than the worldwide privacy tour. But South Park just did, and Meghan Markle is spiraling. Word is she tried to shut the whole thing down before it even aired. Not damage control, not spin, full shutdown. Legal threats, PR panic, insider calls, the whole Hollywood emergency protocol. And what sparked it? A cartoon episode where her healing recipes poison an entire town, and her soft-focus rebrand ends with her morphing into a vomiting monster nicknamed Megzilla.
Away to Oprah Winfrey for what seemed like 3,000 hours. And I simply observed that I wouldn't believe Meghan Markle if she read the weather report. I think that's really aged well, that claim, because I wouldn't. I don't believe a word either of them say about any Park mockery of them, which really highlighted all their hypocrisy.
Apparently, Meghan got an early tip about the parody. Someone in the network, someone high up, leaked the script. She was livid, not annoyed, not amused, fully unglued. Crisis calls started flying. Lawyers were looped in. Reputation managers were briefed.
Now fallen below Prince Andrew's in America. I mean, how unpopular do you have to be less popular than him? So it's pretty...
There were even rumors she tried to slap South Park with a cease and desist before the episode dropped. But here's the problem. South Park lives for that shit. They don't just survive backlash, they feed on it. The louder the outrage, the sharper the punchline. That's how they've lasted this long. They've taken on Oprah, Tom Cruise, Kanye, the Catholic Church, even Scientology, and they've never flinched. You think Meghan Markle scares them?
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
The episode opens with a parody of her failed Netflix series. The cartoon Meghan hosts a spiritual cooking show, organic, ethically sourced, infused with performative humility. Think turmeric foam with a side of "I survived the palace." But instead of healing anyone, her food sends half the town into explosive chaos. Projectile vomiting, foaming mouths, total disaster. It's not just brutal, it's surgical. And it gets worse.
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars.
According to viral leaks, and yes, the kind that usually show up on anonymous forums before Trey and Matt torch someone, South Park's upcoming season isn't just circling back to Meghan Markle, it's allegedly going nuclear. The rumored episode? A full-blown parody of her Netflix disaster, Archetypes, reimagined as a cooking show hosted by cartoon Meghan. But this isn't your average lifestyle segment.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
She's reportedly whipping up spiritually infused wellness core dishes, turmeric foam, kale reduction, maybe a dash of moral superiority. And instead of healing anyone, she poisons the entire town. Everyone gets sick, violently, spectacularly, full-on chaos. Think Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop meets Chernobyl. The parody flips her whole wellness persona into a literal biological hazard. And Meghan, the character, becomes the punchline for every over-branded healing journey. But that's just Act 1.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Because according to those same unconfirmed leaks, things spiral even harder. Meghan's cartoon double apparently gets zapped by a space ray during a Blue Origin-style launch and mutates into a giant monster. Not a diva, not a meme. A full kaiju stomping through Hollywood with a soy latte in one hand and a cease and desist letter in the other. And her new nickname? Megzilla. You didn't hear that from me. But word is, that's the one thing that sent Meghan's team into total panic. Not the food poisoning, not the satire. The nickname.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Because if that catches on, it sticks. And that's where the real damage starts. Insiders say Meghan's main fear isn't even the vomit scenes or the mutant transformation. It's the nickname, Megzilla. She knows how this works. Once the internet latches onto a label like that, it's over. It sticks. It follows. It memes itself into headlines, TikToks, reaction GIFs, merch drops. You can't brand peace and mindfulness with Megzilla trending beside it. And she's not wrong to panic, because behind the parody is something much darker, cultural indictment.
Now, the king can end this feud, but not by shaking hands with this treacherous little weasel, but by stripping him and his wife of the royal titles that they love to use for commercial gain without doing any of the work.
South Park isn't just dragging Meghan, they're dragging the entire industry she represents. The curated trauma, the monetized vulnerability, the Instagrammed healing journeys. She's become a symbol of everything that feels fake, filtered, and focus grouped in modern celebrity culture. And the timing couldn't be worse. Netflix, who bankrolled her rebrand with that Archetypes disaster, is reportedly sweating bullets. That show was supposed to be her bounce back, her graceful return, a soft-spoken reset wrapped in pastel branding and feminist soundbites. Instead, it flopped. Reviews tanked. Viewers dropped off. Even her loyal fan base couldn't defend it. And now, South Park has turned it into a punchline.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth.
Insiders at Netflix are reportedly furious, not at South Park, but at the mess they backed. They wanted a safe, polished, Oprah-adjacent public figure. What they got was chaos, lawsuits, mockery, and now international ridicule via Comedy Central. And it's not like they can distance themselves now, not after all the money, the press, the headlines. Meanwhile, Meghan's playbook is running out of pages. She's tried the sympathy arc, the palace trauma narrative, the misunderstood woman memoir, the family fallout, the podcast Tears. But the public is getting whiplash. One minute she wants privacy, the next she's on a media tour. One day she's all about healing, the next she's suing newspapers, cartoonists, and family members. And South Park? They don't forget. Because this isn't just comedy, it's memory.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
Satire locks people into cultural time capsules. And once you become a recurring punchline on that show, you don't shake it off. Ask Barbra Streisand. Ask Tom Cruise. Ask anyone who's tried to fight back. The harder you push, the deeper the show digs. And Meghan? She pushed. According to sources close to her PR team, she's exploring her options. Legal ones. Again, but it won't work. South Park's creators know exactly how close to the legal edge they can get without falling off. They've spent decades there. No one's ever won. Not Scientologists, not religious groups, definitely not celebrities with PR teams. And still, she's trying to bury the episode, trying to stop the nickname, trying to pivot her brand before the monster meme goes nuclear. But the damage is already done. Screenshots are out, clips are circulating, reaction videos are racking up views. People who've never even watched South Park are quoting Megzilla. Because here's the real problem. Meghan's not just fighting a cartoon, she's fighting a cultural reset. Her brand was built on sympathy, on controlled messaging, on glossy interviews, and calculated vulnerability. But the public isn't buying it anymore. Not when it's being turned into comedy gold. And she's not the only one sweating. Word is brands are quietly distancing, Spotify already walked, Netflix might not renew, book publishers are delaying projects, and you can bet every PR strategist in Hollywood is watching this unfold and taking notes. So what happens now? Another lawsuit? Another memoir? Another emotional documentary with sad piano music and heavily edited lighting? Maybe. But none of it will change the fact that she just got turned into a puking kaiju on national TV. And the worst part? The episode hasn't even aired yet, but the internet already decided Megzilla is real, and she's trending.